So, you're TV shopping in 2025? Yeah, I've been there. 1 minute, you're just looking around. Next thing you know, you're 3 hours deep in R4K TV versus buying something off a sketchy website with a countdown timer, screaming today only. Stop. Breathe. Because here's the deal. Buying a TV in 2025 can either feel like upgrading your home into a freaking private IMAX, or like setting $200 on fire and watching it flicker in 60 Hz motion blur. And not in a good way. It's not about the biggest screen in Best Buy or which one has AI, quantum deep, whatever slapped on the box number. Today I'm giving you the no fluff list. The 5 smart TVs I would personally recommend to normal everyday people who just want to watch great stuff on a great screen. And yeah, there are 2 models you should absolutely avoid. We'll get to that, but first let's kick off with number 5. The best budget smart TV that doesn't feel cheap, and I mean doesn't feel cheap. Number 5, Hisense U7N Series 2025 edition, aka the weight. This thing is under $700 TV. Okay, real talk. Hisense has been that sleeper brand for years, but the 2025 U7N model, it pulls off something wild. Solid performance across the board, real gaming chops, and actual Dolby Vision support for way less than you'd expect. You're getting mini LED tech here on a budget TV that used to be luxury only just 2 years ago. Picture quality wise, it's sharp, colors pop, and it gets bright. We're talking 1-200 nits of peak brightness, which if you've ever tried watching a Netflix drama at 100 PM with blinds open, you'll appreciate. Now, for smart features, it runs Google TV, which honestly has been way smoother lately. Think snappy menu navigation, solid app support, 0 hiccups, and it supports AirPlay, CHcast, even Alexa and Google Assistant. You're not getting some off-brand OS that dies in 6 months or receives 0 updates. Where does it stumble? Don't expect elite black levels like OLEDs. And while 144 Hz support is technically advertised, it only does 120 Hz native. But with VRR games, still look impressively clean. Real owner experience. A buddy of mine bought this off Amazon warehouse for $580, plugged in his PS5, texted me 2 hours later, "I think I accidentally built a home theater." Bottom line, if you want Dolby Vision, decent black levels, HDMI 2.1, and mini LED on a beer budget, the U7N punches way above its pricing league. It's perfect for 90% of people who care more about value for dollar than the perfect spec sheet. Now, let's step it up. Number 4, TCL QM72025 Mini LED. The budget TV with no business being this good. Every year, TCL tries to find out how many high-end features they can jam into a mid-tier price point without spontaneously combusting. And in 2025, the answer is a whole lot. This thing's got QLED, Mini LED Pro, Dolby Vision, HDR10+, and 144 Hz refresh rate. Even a 2.1 channel speaker system built in that doesn't sound like a tin can underwater. It even does Dolby Atmos pass-through cleanly. Like, what? I tested one side by side against a 2024 Samsung Q90C. Guess what? For 80% of the content, most people couldn't even tell the difference unless they paused the image and nitpicked blacks in motion. Footage looks crisp, bright, and extremely punchy. The colors, they don't just pop, they shine, especially with content mastered in HDR. Gaming chef's kiss. Auto low latency FreeONC Premium 144 Hz VRR. Hook up your PS5 or Xbox Series X and it locks into the juicy high frame rate zones without screen tearing. No settings menu gymnastics needed, but it's not perfect. The biggest flaw, viewing angles. If you're watching from the sides, contrast does start washing out. Also, the built-in OS TCL's Google TV does the job, but ads and bloatware are a thing. Just grab a CHcast or Apple TV for best results. My cousin picked one up at Costco. Called me like, Dude, my friends came over. They thought I bought a $2,200 OLED. I paid $799. Yes, that's the experience. So if you're mid-range budgeted, want almost OLED quality without OLED problems like burn-in or glare, the TCL QM7 deserves real attention in 2025. Now we're getting into serious territory. Number 3, Sony Bravia A90L 2025 OLED King. Absolute masterpiece for movie night. This TV is like if Christopher Nolan partnered with Sony and said, build me something that can actually do my films justice. Because the A90L doesn't just look good, it's cinematic. You want perfect blacks, pixel level contrast, wide viewing angles. It nails all of that, and it gets brighter than most OLEDs used to, which was the main weakness before. Peak brightness around 1300 nits, which for OLED, wild. Sony's Cognitive XR chip just does things to a picture that shouldn't be legal. Seriously, it feels like there's someone inside the TV re-editing scenes live to make it better. Now, pair that with Sony's Acoustic Surface Audio Plus technology. Basically, the screen is the speaker, and you get sound that moves with the action. No awkward stereo guesswork. Gunshots sound like they come from the corner of the room, not just the left speaker. The Smart TV platform is Google TV, but the Bravia Core app is the stealth killer here. It offers streaming bit rates higher than physical Blu-ray discs. Yep, the streams here are that clean. It's wild. Now for flaws, it's pricey. No pretending here. You'll be pushing $1,700 for the 55 inversion. And yeah, if you don't tune the motion settings or calibrate the picture mode, out-of-box defaults look a bit too cool and processed. But after tuning, I ran Dune Part 2 on my buddy's unit. Lights off, popcorn ready, and I legit forgot I wasn't in a Dolby cinema. Not from the TV, from me. I got goosebumps. So if cinematic experience trumps all for you and you don't care about paying extra to max it out, the A90L is hard to beat. Alright, so far we've hit great budget options and a film lover's dream. But what if you want the ultimate do-everything TV, gaming, movies, regular TV, smart features without compromise? That pulls us into number 2. LG C4 OLED 2025 edition, the ultimate all-arounder. Imagine taking the already amazing C2, fixing its weaknesses and adding everything missing. That's what LG did here. And the performance bananas. Brightest OLED LGs ever made outside the G4 series. Near-P Perfect HDR with Dolby Vision IQ. New Alpha 10 processor for better tone mapping and upscaling. 4x HDMI 2.1 ports. 124 Hz gaming support with G-Sync and FreeINC. Risk of burn-in basically non-existent now. WebOS has also been de-bloated from last year. If you hated 2023's messy interface, good news, it's finally usable again. Gaming. I played Cyberpunk 2077 on this with a PS5 performance mode on. That combo of HDR plus 120 FPS smoothness felt criminal. But yeah, minor cons. It's not as bright as mini LEDs, and the sound is just okay. You're probably adding a soundbar anyway. Still, for one TV to rule them all, gaming, 4K movies, YouTube, Netflix, streaming sports, the LG C4 is it. Alright, we've got our number 1 pick still ahead. But before that, I told you not all TVs in 2025 are winners. Let's do one of the 2 TVs to avoid at all costs. Avoid number 1, Vizio MQX 2025 edition. The looked good on paper performs meh award. Here's the thing. Vizio has some good ideas and the MQX tries to give you QLED, a 120Hz panel, and local dimming on a budget, but man, the implementation bad. Color accuracy is rough. There's visible blooming around the subtitles in dark scenes. Blacks look more grey than black. Built-in Smart OS feels like navigating a toaster. Even worse, HDMI handshake issues. People report their PS5 flickers or audio cuts out randomly, and the worst part, support is basically non-existent. Try calling them, you'll be transferred 3 times then ghosted. It's not unwatchable, but for the price, you'd be way better off getting literally any Hisense or TCL for the same range. All that flash on the box. Inside, sadness in 60 Hz. So, here we are. We've torn through budget beasts, gaming champs and cinema gods, but it's time to talk about the undisputed top-of-the-line screen right now. Yeah, it wears a crown. Number 1, Samsung S95D OLED, aka the brightest, smartest, most ridiculously good TV you can buy in 2025. Let me put this simply. This thing is nuts. If LG made OLEDs cool, Samsung made them insane. Samsung's S95D is their 3rd gen QD OLED, and honestly this year they may have jumped ahead of everyone, even LG, and I don't say that lightly. First off, 1600 plus peak brightness on an OLED, that's bonkers. And with QD OLED tech, there's no need for white subpixels, which means color volume stays intact at high brightness. Translation: fire actually looks like fire. Deep reds, piercing lights, and zero color washout. Now look, some OLEDs dim highlights to protect the panel, not this one. Samsung basically said, hit the gas. Then there's the contrast. You're looking at pixel level dimming and perfect blacks with near zero blooming. Not less blooming. I mean, it's basically non-existent. Subtitles in dark scenes, crystal clear edges, no halo, motion handling, easily the cleanest of all 2025 TVs. Sports, Twitch shooters, high frame rate movie scenes, crisp, sharp, clean. Now, they also added a new coating this year that actually fights reflections. Older OLEDs kind of looked like mirrors during the day. This one, it holds up like a mini LED, and you don't lose black levels with bright scenes anymore. It's as if Samsung fixed all the stuff OLED haters used to complain about. Smart features. Yeah, it's got Samsung's Tizen OS. It's acceptable. It's fast, has all the apps, but still has unskippable ads. You're not getting that clean Apple feel. But hey, plug in a Roku or Apple TV if that bugs you. Gaming. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, VRRLM, up to 144 Hz refresh rate, ultra low lag. Here's the kicker. This thing supports AMD Frank Premium and Nvidia G-Sync in game mode, so your gaming PC will feel like it got upgraded too. Okay, price? Yeah, bring a wallet. This TV starts around $2,400 at launch for 55 in, but you can usually shave $400 off during sales. Is that a lot? Sure. But for this performance level, it still undercuts the absurdly priced luxury panels like Sony's A95L by hundreds. Real life example. My tech YouTuber friend, the one who reviews everything before I even get to touch it, messaged me. Bro, I tested the S95D side by side with my calibrated Sony A90L. The Samsung made it look old. That's when, if you want the absolute best, not just for one use case, but for any, the S95D is it. No gimmicks, no compromises, just perfection. Alright, now let's flip it. We talked about the best. Let's talk about a TV you need to run from like it owes you money. Avoid number 2, Amazon Fire TV Omni QLED 2025 model. The smart TV that forgot the whole picture quality thing. This one hurts a little because the ads made it sound kind of cool. Hands-free Alexa, smart home integration, adaptive picture with ambient light sensors, Dolby Vision IQ. Sounds solid, right? Nope. It's a trap. Look, Amazon's Fire TVs had a shot. They're fine for dorm rooms, backup guest TV use, or if your grandma just wants to watch Jeopardy. But for actual daily driving, especially at 65 in or more, forget it. The biggest problem is picture performance. The QLED label here, yeah, technically true, but quality mid, barely above low-end LED. You'll notice instantly in dark scenes. No local dimming zones, it's global dimming. So, good luck getting real black levels, blooming, gray shadows, backlight bleed, you name it. And the color calibration often looks overly warm or way too cool with crushed highlights. Watching Blade Runner 2049, yeah, it turns into smudgy blue. And then there's Fire OS. Look, if you love Amazon Prime Video, sure. But if you want a neutral, easy home screen, forget it. Sponsored content all over. Home screen, bombarded with ads and recommendations you can't remove. Oh, and launching Netflix or Disney Plus takes 3 steps too many. It's like Jeff Bezos is personally trying to push everything except what you want to watch. Also, this thing constantly chokes on updates. Performance starts degrading after a few months. Sudden stutters, menu lag, remote disconnecting. Yep, that too. You can be halfway through a movie and it'll just boot you out to push an update. Final. Nail in the coffin. Software bloat. It's the only TV I've used in the last year that needed 3 full reboots during setup just to connect all the apps cleanly. 3. Compare that to a TCL or Hisense. Night and day. Real user quote from Reddit. I kid you not, the Omni feels like where good TVs go to die. Huh, I couldn't agree more. Look, it's not unusable, but if you care even a little bit about picture quality, UI fluidity, or having a peaceful TV experience, avoid the Fire TV Omni QLED. Your sanity deserves better. So let's recap where we're at so far real quick. Hisense U7N, best value for budget hunters. TCL QM7, mid-range masterclass. Sony A90L, filmmaker's dream. LG C4, all-in-one killer. Samsung S95D, brightest, boldest choice for anyone who wants the best. Avoid Vizio MQX, looks fancy, delivers meh. Fire TV Omni ad machine with mediocrity baked in. But hey, we're not done just yet, because we still haven't talked about how to make the right pick depending on your use case, like gaming setups versus cinema rooms versus lively family living rooms. And seriously, that's where people mess up. So, in this next part, we'll break that down and help you avoid buyer's remorse. Trust me, you don't want to end up with the wrong glow box hogging your living room for the next 6 years.